This is the World Service of All India Radio. Today is 8th December, Tuesday. We are here with our news updates. Along with me is Neil Kamal Sharma and I am Lucy Gabriel.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that digital potential of the country is huge, and due to the mobile technology, India is able to help the poor and vulnerable sections of the society. Addressing the 4th edition of the India Mobile Congress, Mr. Modi said it is important to think and plan how we can improve lives with the upcoming technology revolution. He said better healthcare, better education, better information and opportunities to our farmers, better market access for small businesses are some of the goals that can be achieved with the help of digital technologies.
United Kingdom will become the first country today to roll out the COVID-19 vaccine. As per the government, the shots will be initially available at hospitals before distributing stocks to doctors' clinics. Britain gave emergency use approval for the vaccine developed by Pfizer and BioNTech last week. In a statement last week, Health Secretary Matt Hancock said that the government is doing everything to make sure to overcome significant challenges to vaccinate care homes residents. National Healthcare Service is giving top priority to vaccinating those above 80 years. Frontline healthcare workers and care home staff and residents. In total, Britain has ordered 4 crore doses. About 8 lakh doses are expected to be available within the first week.
India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. With a continuous decline in the number of active corona cases, the active caseload in the country today has fallen even below 4%. With nearly 3,83,000 active cases, the active caseload stands at 3.96%. With 26,567 new daily cases, the number of daily cases has also registered a fall of over 19% from yesterday. The new daily positive cases have remained below the 50,000 mark for over a month now. The national cumulative recovery rate has also further improved to be at 94.59%, with the recovery of nearly 91,79,000 people so far.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with Amir of State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Mr. Modi conveyed his felicitations to the Amir for the upcoming National Day of Qatar. While thanking the Prime Minister for the greetings, the Amir appreciated the enthusiasm with which the Indian community in Qatar participates in the National Day celebrations. During the telephonic conversation, the two leaders discussed the cooperation between India and Qatar in the fields of investment and energy security. Both the leaders have decided to create a special task force to facilitate investments by Qatar Investment Authority in India, and also resolved to explore Qatari investments in the entire energy value chain in the country.
United Nations Conference on Trade and Development UNCTAD has declared Invest India as winner of the 2020 United Nations Investment Promotion Award. The awards ceremony took place at UNCTAD headquarters in Geneva yesterday. The award recognizes and celebrates the outstanding achievements of the world's best practice investment promotion agencies. The evaluation was based on UNCTAD's assessment of work undertaken by 180 national investment promotion agencies across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Invest India, the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency of the central government, for winning the 2020 United Nations Investment Promotion Award. The Prime Minister said that the award is a testimony to the government's focus on making India the world's preferred investment destination and improving ease of doing business.
New Zealand has released an almost 800-page report into the March 2019 killings of 51 Muslim worshippers at 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch, and concluded that authorities could not have been alerted of an imminent attack. It concludes that despite the shortcomings of the various agencies, there were no clear signals the attack was imminent. Aside from the manifesto Taran sent out just 8 minutes before he began shooting, which came too late for agencies to respond.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephone conversation with French President Emmanuel Macron yesterday. Prime Minister Modi conveyed to President Macron his condolences for the terror attacks in France and reiterated India's full support in the fight against terrorism, extremism and radicalism. The two leaders also discussed other bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest. These included improving the affordability and accessibility of COVID-19 vaccines, post-COVID economic recovery, cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region, maritime security, defense cooperation, digital economy, and cybersecurity. Strengthening multilateralism and climate change and biodiversity also came up for discussion.
US President-elect Joe Biden has chosen retired General Lloyd Austin as his defense secretary, US media report. General Austin, age 67, will become the first African American to lead the Pentagon. General Austin, who led US Central Command during the Obama administration, would need a congressional waiver as it is less than 5 years since he retired. Mr. Biden's reported decision comes 2 weeks after he announced other senior members of his national security team.
China has ordered Chongqing provincial government to take decisive measures to effectively stop major accidents in coal mines. 23 workers in southwest China were killed after being trapped underground in a coal mine in the city of Chongqing this weekend. The miners were among the total 24 people who have been exposed to unsafe levels of carbon monoxide at the Daishuidong coal mine, which is a high gas mine with a capacity of 120,000 TPA of coal. One person has been rescued. The mine was suspended and shut down over 2 months ago. The cause of the accident is being further investigated. The latest incident is the region's second such accident in just 2 months, as reported by state news agency.
World Health Organization has appointed Indian origin Anil Soni as the Chief Executive Officer of the WHO Foundation. Global health expert Soni will assume his role as its inaugural CEO on January 1st next year. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus described Soni as a proven innovator in global health who has spent 2 decades in service of communities affected by HIV, AIDS and other infectious diseases. In his new role, Soni will accelerate the foundation work to invest in innovative, evidence-based initiatives that support WHO in delivering on its mission to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all, the WHO Foundation stated.
You just heard the news updates from the World Service of All India Radio.
Listen now to the day's commentary entitled Afghan Peace Talks, A Glimmer of Hope, scripted by Dr. Priyanka Singh, strategic analyst on Afghanistan and read by Neil Kamal Sharma.
After months of intense parleys, the much-anticipated peace talks between the Afghan government and Taliban is believed to be taking a definite turn. The two sides have reached some kind of consensus on the framework of negotiations that would guide or streamline the discussions and proceedings on the agenda in the foreseeable future. An agreement was finalized which roadmaps discussions on more concrete, substantive issues including that of a ceasefire in the violence-afflicted nation. According to the US Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, the agreement, a 3-page document, delineated the rules and procedures that will be instrumental while preparing the blueprint for future political governance of Afghanistan and, more importantly, the long-pending comprehensive ceasefire. The US-backed peace talks that started in Doha in September this year have been shrouded in speculation given the myriad irreconcilable differences between the negotiating sides. The Taliban have emphatically refused to accept the legitimacy of the Ashraf Ghani-led government in Afghanistan. Similarly, there have been widespread suspicions over the intentions of Taliban. Even though they agreed to hold peace talks with the Afghan government, they have relentlessly pursued their attacks and unleashed violence in the country, including attacks on the Afghan security forces and the US-led coalition forces. A joint statement issued on behalf of the negotiating sides said a joint working committee would facilitate the preparation of issues to be put on the agenda. This particular development has been widely welcomed all across, given the general sense of hopelessness around the peace talks. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called the preliminary agreement as a major milestone, appreciating the perseverance and willingness of both sides determined to reach a common ground. Secretary Pompeo assured the stakeholders that the US government would fully cooperate towards efforts to reduce the staggeringly high levels of violence in Afghanistan. The UN envoy on Afghanistan, Deborah Lyons, also applauded the agreement, referring to it as springboard that could help restore the longed peace in the war-torn nation. Pakistan's foreign ministry referred to the positive development as a step forward. The two sides reaching a consensus, even though in a nascent stage, bodes significant implications. It would be worth watching how the incoming Biden administration would cope with it. Before the US elections, President Trump spoke of complete US withdrawal from Afghanistan by Christmas this year. However, he later climbed down to announce that there would be significant reductions of forces beginning January 2021. Whether or not his contentions materializes remains to be seen. But the two sides negotiating in Doha have provided some good news, and it may be difficult for Mr. Biden to ignore that. The situation in Afghanistan is still fluid. An understanding between the Taliban and the US envisaged complete withdrawal of foreign forces from the country by May 2021. However, given the current situational realities where Taliban militias continue to stage violence and terror on Afghan soil, it is still difficult to gauge whether Afghanistan will witness more stability and order once the international forces leave. As far as India is concerned, it has been unequivocally supportive of the present peace talks. In his virtual address at the inauguration of the Doha talks in September, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar emphasized that the negotiations in principle must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled, thereby extending India's categorical support to the talks. India has huge stakes in Afghanistan's peace, given the volume of investment it has made in the strife-ridden nation. Just a fortnight ago, India and Afghanistan had signed an agreement for building of the Shahtoot Dam at Chahar-e-Shab near Kabul. The dam project is slated to provide clean drinking water to the Afghan population in the vicinity. The agreement has reportedly caused some displeasure in Pakistan. It is clear that India and Afghanistan are determined to forge ahead and continue to optimally cooperate at multiple levels towards reconstruction and development efforts in the war-ravaged country. Pakistan will continue to play a spoiler. In this regard, both India and Afghanistan will have to contend with the pursuit of persistent deterrence from the Pakistani side.
That was today's commentary entitled Afghan Peace Talks, A Glimmer of Hope, scripted by Dr. Priyanka Singh, strategic analyst on Afghanistan, and it was read by Neil Kamal Sharma and brought to you from the AIR World Service of All India Radio.